Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I know people will join us as the evening goes on, but first, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Katie Rowland Ellis. I am the graduate recruiter for our Doctor of Pharmacy program and our pre-pharmacy program here at Samford University. Samford University is located in Birmingham, Alabama. We have a pre-pharmacy with our undergraduate school and then our Doctor of Pharmacy program through our graduate and professional program. So we are thrilled that you're here tonight to learn more about our program. I brought some amazing people with me this evening virtually. I brought them with me virtually. Wouldn't that be weird if we were all just in this one room together? No, I brought them with me virtually this evening to talk to you about what they do here at the McWhorter School of Pharmacy and to kind of give you some ideas and tips for what the career of pharmacy means, what that looks like. I want to be a pharmacist. What can that practically look like? And then what we believe we do really well here at the McWhorter School of Pharmacy. So we're glad that you're here. If you've never been to Birmingham, Alabama, that's why I love this picture that's on my screen right now. This is actually the pharmacy school building. And so we refer to it as the tree house. It's the same picture that's also behind our director of admission, John Parker. Our building is in this beautiful, beautiful building at the foothills of the mountains in Birmingham. And so it's just a really amazing place to be. And so whatever your vision of Birmingham, Alabama is, we hope that this is kind of what you take away with it. So tonight, we're really glad that you're here because the most important part of the McWhorter School of Pharmacy is you. We can't do any of what we do without you all. We hope that you will join us for the 6 years of pre-pharmacy and Doctor of Pharmacy, or for the 4 years of Doctor of Pharmacy. So a big part of my role here is to get to know you and really help you through your journey to pharmacy school. So whether you're in the 7th grade, a senior in high school, or a sophomore in college, my job is just kind of come alongside you and meet you where you are, and then we can kind of go through the adventure to pharmacy school together. So my contact information will be at the end. We'll have a form that we'll put in the chat a little bit later where you can request more information from us. But we do all this because of you all. It's our favorite part of our school, are our students. And so we hope that one day you will be a part of our family. And then these numbers, I think, speak for themselves. We're very proud. We have an amazing group of students and alumni who have worked really hard to build quite a legacy for us here at Samford. Our pharmacy school is almost 100 years old. So in 27, which somehow is not that far away, although it feels like it should be far away, but in 2027, we will turn 100 years old. None of us have been here for 100 years at the McWhorter School of Pharmacy, so rest assured that they are still not here, but our school will be 100 years old. Again, whether you are in middle school, high school, or college, a really important thing when looking at a pharmacy program is what are the success of the students who have already been through that program? Are they getting jobs? Are they passing their licensure exams? Because ultimately that is why we want you to go to pharmacy school, is to be a successful pharmacist. And so these numbers are very important to you as a potential student and a potential pharmacist because they are kind of outlining your success after school. So the NAPLEX, if you're not familiar with that, is the licensure exam. So after your 4 years of Doctor of Pharmacy school, you'll take the NAPLEX, and that will give you your license in order to practice. And so our passing rate, our 15-year average is 93 the first time. So that's great. And then our law exam, which is the MPJE. So very similar, but it's for the laws associated with pharmacy and whatever state you're taking it in, is 94% on that passing rate. The number that I think is really important to me, especially as you are looking at a career. And if we have any guardians on the phone call, always good to know that what your child is getting involved in, there's a job at the other end of it. And so in 2022, 94% of our graduates were employed in the field of pharmacy or in a residency position within 6 months of graduation. And that is just a wonderful thing to go through all of that work and all that effort to really pay off with a job that you love and that you're excited about is really an important thing. And so we're really excited. This slide, sadly, was outdated earlier this week because we are no longer the #2 private pharmacy school in the South. We are now the #1 private pharmacy school in the South. So very excited about that. I did not update my graphic. I should have, but we are now the #1 school in the South for private pharmacy schools. So we're very, very proud of that. So very exciting. So I will come back later in the evening, but I have some really exciting people to talk to you today. And I want to make sure if you have questions during any part of tonight, feel free to type those in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat. I know Bobby from HOSA will also be monitoring the chat. So anytime you have questions, please let us know, and we'd love to answer that. And before we get started again, I also want to thank HOSA. HOSA, thank you for having us tonight. We are so excited to be here. We love the HOSA program. We just think it's truly amazing. And so thank you for having us. So first, I'm going to have the amazing John Parker tell you a little about our pharmacy admission and his role here at McWhorter.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Parker. I am the Director of Admission here at Samford's McWhorter School of Pharmacy. Along with that, I'm also the undergraduate pre-pharmacy advisor. So I get to work with the students from the time they're in high school all the way into and through the PharmD program, and sometimes even beyond that. I still have friends in pretty much every pharmacy class that I've worked with in the almost now 22 years that I've been here. But we are a traditional PharmD program. So what that means is for the PharmD, we are 3 years in the classroom and 1 year out in experience. We're also what we call a 2-4 program. That means we have 2 years of undergraduate prerequisites. Then you come into the 4 years of pharmacy school. Pharmacy is a professional doctorate, which means a bachelor's degree is not required for entry into the program. Each pharmacy school can decide how many years of the pre-pharmacy prerequisites they're going to ask their students to have prior to being able to start in the program. And we continually look at our outcomes and the success of our students to make sure that we are asking for what's needed for them to be successful. And we have settled on, and we've been there, that we do have the 2 years of prereqs. Now, in those 2 years of prerequisites, you're going to have the same basic classes that you'll have at pretty much any major, but then you'll also have heavily into the math and science classes. Now you can go on to our website, samford.edu/pharmacy, and there you can find a list of different 2-year and 4-year schools all around the country that we have our prereqs. Now, we would love you to be here at Samford for those prereqs. And so, we do have a special list of those classes just for that. You do the 2 years of prerequisites, and then instead of starting your junior year of undergrad, you would come into your first year of pharmacy school. We have 2 pathways for entry into our PharmD program through those prereqs. We have our traditional pathway, that is any student at any 2-year or 4-year school who says they want to do who are doing pre-pharmacy and want to do the PharmD program. They finish our prerequisites, and then in their sophomore year, they submit the application to our PharmD program. And at that point, we decide, look at their grades and all the information, decided we're going to invite them for the interview. And then they find out in that sophomore year if they're going to start pharmacy school that following year. But we also have our early assurance program. In our early assurance program, as a high school senior, if you have a 3.5 or higher overall high school GPA, combined with what we call a pharmacy prep GPA. Now that's looking at your high school classes that correspond with our prerequisites. So I look at Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Pre-Calc, Calculus, Biology, Chemistry. Any 5 of those 7 classes that give you a 3.4 or higher. So that 3.5 or higher overall combined with a 3.4 or higher math or science, that qualifies you for our early assurance program. We send information to you that you fill out a little extra application information. Then we can then invite you for an interview during your senior year all the way through the end of the fall semester of your freshman year. The result of that interview is not only your acceptance into our early assurance program, it's your acceptance into pharmacy school. If you maintain your grades, which is a 3.0 or better each semester, don't get in trouble, finish our prereqs, all of that, then you have a guaranteed seat waiting on you in our PharmD program when you finish those prereqs 2 years down the road. We just think that it's an amazing opportunity for those students who look at our program, see something they want to do, and know that we are the program that they believe will help them become the pharmacists they want to be. If we can help you get started on that while you're still in high school, as in that senior year, then once you start college, all you have to do is be that great, amazing student that you are anyway. And then we have that seat waiting on you in our program. On our website, you can find all sorts of ways to get in touch with myself or Katie to ask questions. You can find information about different programs that we have available, our joint degrees that we have while you're in the PharmD. You can add a master's in a bunch of different areas, depending on what you want to do with your pharmacy career. You can look at our student groups and organizations and see all the different ways our students are active outside of the classroom. You can see different things that we're doing nationally with our different student organizations, and you can see our international outreach that we have through our pharmacy programs, where we have outreach into, we have electives in London and Spain, or you can do pharmacy experience opportunities in, currently, I believe it is 12 or 13 different foreign countries where you can be placed to get some of that experience. So we truly believe we have an amazing program. You know, all the pharmacy schools you may be looking at will all give you an excellent academic preparation for pharmacy, but you need to look at those things outside the classroom and say, what does this school do that another school won't do that will help me become the pharmacist I want to be? And we believe that's truly where we shine. So I'm going to step back and go back to Katie and let her take over again, but I'm here to answer questions. I'm here if you want to call or email. You see my information right there. The way I say it, if people didn't have questions, I wouldn't have a job. So please keep me employed. I like what I do. But thank you all for being here. And Katie, back to you.
Thank you, John. So yes, if you have any questions specific for John, go ahead and drop those in the chat. I'm kind of watching that as we go through. And I know that Mr. Parker just gave you a lot of really great information, and you hopefully we're not trying to write it all down. If you were, great job. We love note takers at pharmacy school. They are important. Our student John is laughing because he takes a lot of notes as a pharmacy student. But after tonight, you'll get an email from us. It will be through HOSA, but you'll get another email from us, and attached to that email will be several handouts that go through everything that we're going through tonight. So again, please take notes, please ask questions, but we will also get you all this information tangibly, and it's all on our website as well. So awesome. So one of the things that I just fell in love with when I started working at McWhorter. I was a middle school teacher for 12 years, so shout out to all my middle school friends. Woo! You've got this. Middle school is the best. But one of the things I just truly fell in love with when I came here to McWhorter was our faculty. They are the kindest group of faculty I've ever met. They deeply care about our students. They are passionate about the work that they do, and it's truly the heartbeat of our school. And so I wanted to make sure that you heard from one of the best tonight. And so we have invited Dr. Marshall Cates to tell us a little about who he is and what he does in the world of pharmacy, and a little bit about our school. So thanks for coming, Dr. Cates.
Thank you, Katie. First of all, I just say I'm so glad I didn't wear that jacket and tie tonight. That would have been embarrassing. But I have been a pharmacist since 1991. And in those 33 years, I've spent almost 29 of them now at the Samford University McWhorter School of Pharmacy as an academic pharmacist. So going on about 90% of my career. I love Samford, and I would do it all again. So I'm happy to speak tonight. Just to give you a little bit about my background, as I mentioned, I received my Doctor of Pharmacy degree in 1991 from the University of Tennessee, and then I completed a psychiatric pharmacy residency. And I spent my entire career in the specialty of psychiatric pharmacy. I spent 3 years at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I have been at Samford ever since. But one of the reasons I give you this background is to drive home the point that pharmacy is actually a very diverse career path, career choice. Most people, when they think of pharmacy, they think of what we call community pharmacy. So chain pharmacies like Walgreens and CVS, et cetera, and independent pharmacies that are owned by individual pharmacists. And to be sure, there's still a lot of jobs in that sector, and a lot of our graduates go into that sector. But you don't have to. I have never worked in that sector. Again, I've been a clinical pharmacist in in the field of psychiatry. There are many other fields to go into. I know Dr. DeHart on the call used to work in ambulatory care and renal. So there's a lot of different areas in clinical pharmacy. There's hospital staff positions, positions in the pharmaceutical industry. There are a lot of things that one can do with a pharmacy degree. So I just wanted to put that out there. At the McWhorter School of Pharmacy, we're like a lot of schools of pharmacy. We have 2 departments. So there's faculty in what's called the Department of Pharmaceutical and Administrative Sciences, and then there's the Department of Pharmacy Practice. So basically think of it like there's scientists and there's pharmacy practitioners. For the practitioners like myself, we typically go to our practice sites in the morning. So I work at a child and adolescent psychiatric inpatient facility, and then come to the school in the afternoon and lecture and provide service and that kind of thing. So we take students who are around, or they're rotating, so they're doing their what we call advanced pharmacy practice experiences. And those are very intense 5-week experiences where they learn particular areas of pharmacy. Very exciting. That's a part of my job that I really enjoy a lot. But then also we come back and teach in the classroom in the labs, which is exciting as well. Then just a few things I want to say, and just some of these points I just want to reiterate from what Katie and John just said. One thing that I would point out that's really special about our pharmacy school, I really like our vision statement. And our vision statement is that we prepare pharmacists who transform lives. That's not just a statement. I feel like we believe in that and we live that. So we truly want to produce graduates, pharmacists who go out and they help their patients, they influence their other caregivers, and really just the population at large, society. So we're not just about training pharmacists. We want them to go out and do really well. And on that note, Katie mentioned some of the measures of success that we've had. We are not a brand new pharmacy school by any means. Like I said, I've been there 29 years. But nowhere near the 100 years or almost 100 years that the school's been around. We're a very established school, and from the perspective of the faculty, one thing I would note is, again, having been there almost 30 years, there's 3 faculty members, almost 4, who've been there just as long as me. And there's a lot of faculty members who have been there at least 10 to 15 years. So we have a very stable and very experienced faculty at the School of Pharmacy. Katie mentioned some of the numbers: NAPLEX pass rate, law exam pass rates, and those are all very good, at least 90% on both of those. One thing that she didn't mention that I would brag about is the fact that we've also been extremely successful in our graduates matching for residencies and obtaining fellowships and that kind of thing. This past year, we had 63 alums who, or either recent graduates or alums who matched for residency programs. So that was a very, very good, one of the top of all private pharmacy schools. So we're a very successful pharmacy school, I think. The other thing that I would brag about is the beauty of the campus. Katie and John, as you see John's background there and Dr. DeHart's background, it's part of the beauty of the campus. I have as my virtual background one of our major classrooms. It's just a place, if you come on campus, you just fall in love with it. It's very beautiful. But even more important is, I think you detect the beauty and the warmth of the people. And that's the faculty and the staff, and other students. I think if you just come on campus and just get a feel for that, we have always been proud of the fact that one of our core features is the relationships that we have on campus, and that's between students and faculty and students, and faculty and faculty and faculty and staff. We all get along so well. We all respect one another, and I think you would feel that that warmth and that sense of belonging the second that you step on campus. So I would invite you to do that. A few other things that I'll talk about. I think I still have some time here. Surprisingly, John didn't take all of his time, so I'll take a few minutes. One of the things is, as John mentioned, John Parker mentioned, pharmacy schools, they all have a curriculum. You're going to learn about pharmacy. But I think one thing that sets Samford apart, Samford University McWhorter School of Pharmacy, is the approach that we take to personalization. So even though there's, you all take classes to become a pharmacist, there are ways to distinguish yourself and to pursue different sectors of pharmacy, as I mentioned earlier. One of the things that someone mentioned was global engagement. We have electives in Spain. We have elective in London. That's after the second year of pharmacy school. We have advanced pharmacy practice experiences in various places. I know at least South America, Asia, a lot of places in Asia, and Europe. And so, and we have students and faculty who participate in mission trips as well in various places. So a lot of opportunities in terms of global engagement. That's always been a big thing for us. We have a heart for our global engagement. Another huge area is joint degrees. We have 6 different joint degrees. I think the most popular, Dr. DeHart can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the most popular is probably the Master of Public Health. We have some that pursue some of these other ones, though. I got my notes here, so I won't forget any. MBA, Master of Business Administration, Master of Healthcare Administration, Master of Science in Health Informatics, Master of Science in Nutrition, which I think is our newest one, and we've got a core group of students who are pursuing that, and also a Master of Studies in Law with a concentration in Health Law and Compliance. So that we offer really a unique blend of joint degrees that students can pursue, and as I mentioned, really differentiate themselves. We have elective courses that are both in the first several years, but also after students complete their advanced pharmacy practice experiences. So they're advanced electives. So students get a choice about what they pursue. I've mentioned APPEs, or advanced pharmacy practice experiences, a few times. I don't know of any other school in which the experiential office goes to great lengths like we do to place people where they want to be placed. So if they want particular kinds of rotations, that's in all likelihood what they're going to get. It's a real, I think, distinguishing feature of our school. Another thing that I would mention is our organizations. Dr. DeHart's office heads up the student organizations, but at last count, I think we have 11 different professional organizations, and then we have a pharmaceutical fraternity, and then we have 2 honorary societies as well, one for academics and one for leadership. So all in all, we have 14 student organizations that people can be a member of, and you don't even have to be a member. You can go to different meetings and learn about these different sectors of pharmacy that I mentioned earlier. So a lot of exciting things. I'm probably just going to stop at that because I could go on and on. But I will mention one other thing. We have implemented a new practice and team ready curriculum. And currently we're the students who are in advanced pharmacy practice experiences, they're our first class through. And we feel like it's being very successful. One of the things that we've been very deliberate about is integrating science with practice and pharmacotherapy. So I think students are going to be very well prepared to go out after they graduate and be excellent practitioners. So with that, I will sign off, and I appreciate everybody's attendance here tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Cates. We really appreciate it. So one thing that I love the most about really getting to talk to Dr. Cates is all of the different opportunities inside of the world of pharmacy. And so I will say, before I worked at a pharmacy school, like Dr. Cates mentioned, I thought that all pharmacists worked at Walgreens. That's what I thought they did. And so that's been a really cool opportunity to meet with our faculty and learn about their specialty areas and the ways that they practice. And that's been really exciting to get to see. So give me a little reaction, give me a little thumbs up if you knew there were lots of different types of pharmacists. You knew there were nuclear pharmacists and acute care and ambulatory care, and you knew. Can I see them? Come on, give me some thumbs up. Who knew that? Oh, I got 2. There we go. There's our shining star. Oh, 3, 4. Nice, nice. Okay, good. So you are well prepared for the world of pharmacy. So that is really exciting. Of course, we adore our community pharmacists. They are awesome too. But it is nice to know that the world of pharmacy is a really, really large place where you can learn, where you can grow into many different areas. So that's really exciting. And I always want to learn more about what Dr. Cates does, because psychological pharmaceuticals sound really fun. That sounds like a very, very fascinating group. So thank you. And thank you for everyone who's been sending me messages in the chat. I've been answering them as we go. I keep turning off my camera though, so y'all don't bounce around as I type. So thank you. Learn something new. Well, that's good. We love to learn something new. Are there programs at Samford that allow students to go from high school to pharmacy school directly? So that's a great question. Can you go directly from high school to the Doctor of Pharmacy program? No. Most students definitely need at least a year. I know a lot of students are dual enrolling and having a lot of college level credit coming out of high school. But as of right now, there's not a direct program. Mr. Parker, would you like to elaborate that on a little bit?
Yeah, so as Katie was saying, we do have students that when they graduate high school, they have a large percentage of our prerequisites completed. So far, we haven't had anyone that when they graduated from high school, they had our full list. We have been anticipating that, but you do need to have all of the prerequisites from our list completed prior to entry into the PharmD program. So if you have AP, IB, dual enrollment, anything like that, if it's from an accredited school, then we can use it to satisfy those prereqs. And so, there may come a time when we have those students that by the time they graduate high school, they have the courses ready. Now, I always like to talk about, once you get into the PharmD program, it is a graduate professional program. So it is an intense program. There's a lot of, there's a high expectation of preparation and some self-learning that takes place outside of the classroom. So, it's not only the academic preparation, but, we're looking for professionalism and emotional maturity. So, if that student comes to us and they have that full package of all the information, then, we would love to have them in our program. But as Katie was saying, typically we do see the students that need at least a semester or 2 after high school graduation just to get everything on our list.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Katie,
Yeah.
there was a question about residency. Can I address that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so there was a question about residency in the chat, and I mentioned that I had done a residency in psychiatric pharmacy. The structure is a little bit different now. That was 30 years ago. So there are what we call PGY1 and PGY2 residencies. That's postgraduate year 1 and postgraduate year 2. Roughly think of it as general and specialty residencies. You don't have to do a residency, but typically if you want to go into a clinical position, those tend to require residencies. So they're not always, but they tend to. So in residency programs, you get very intensive training in clinical, particular clinical areas. And so you can do residencies. In fact, you can go to ASHP, which is American Society of Health System Pharmacists, ashp.org, and there's a whole section of their website that deal with residencies. They're the accrediting body for pharmacy residencies. You can go on there and put in anything you're interested in, and it spits out all kinds of data about where these residencies are. The other thing that I would mention is board certification. So you see next to my name, there's a BCPP there. That means board certified psychiatric pharmacist. Board certification is becoming more and more popular. Now there's over 60,000 pharmacists who have board certification in a lot of different areas. And so there's a lot of different opportunities, again, to distinguish yourself and to obtain the kind of long-term positions that you're really wanting.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Gates. That residency program is definitely something that we're really excited about and really passionate about matching our students that wanting to do that residency program. We really try to help them any way we can. We have tons of questions coming in. So the amazing John Coley, we're going to put you on pause for just a second, if that's okay with you, sir. I was like, I want you definitely to talk. John is one of our current P1 students, and he was a pre-pharmacy student here at Samford. So I definitely want him to talk about being a student, but I'm going to jump to these questions real fast, and then we'll jump over to you. You can see Sweet John is in his dorm, which is a big benefit of being a pre-pharmacy student that we'll talk about later. So just quickly for our group here, Dr. Hart or Mr. Parker, what is the current acceptance rate into Samford's pharmacy school? I do not know.
That's really not something that we have tracked in recent years. I will say, we typically get applications anywhere from 150, 200, 300 applications recently, in the last few years, and then we'll narrow that down. Our target class size is 100. So, it just all depends on, we've had years where, long time ago, I've also been here, like, Dr. Gates, quite a while. We've had years where we had over 1,000 applications, but, it just depends on each year's applicant pool nationally of what we're looking at. But we are, having amazing classes, and the quality of our applicants has stayed the same of those that we're admitting into the program. So, average GPA in that 3.4 to 3.5 range for the ones that we admit into the program. And so, and then as Katie was showing earlier, the success rate. So yes, we're really good.
So the average GPA of the incoming class is typically between a 3.3 and a 3.4, kind of going to what Mr. Parker was talking about. There was a question also about classes that we would either look for or recommend. Anything dealing with chemistry will give you kind of a jump start. Just some of the courses in the early part of the pharmacy program do tend to have a significant chemistry component, because that's what drugs do, is, alter our chemical processes. The question about ninth graders being able to attend, I'm assuming that's related to camp, Katie?
Yes, for our pharmacy school camp.
Good. So I'll turn it back to you.
At this time, sadly, my lovely ninth graders, we don't have a pharmacy camp option for you. It is really geared more towards our rising, gonna be 11th graders through the summer before you go to college. It's just a really great time to prep and get ready for a pre-pharmacy program. So we do love ninth graders. I taught ninth grade. They are the best, but we currently just don't have an option. But we hope that any ninth graders, you can come join us next summer. I know you all got our email, and inside of it included our camp. Our camp is always the last week of June. So put it on your calendars for next summer. Come join us on campus. It's a really great time.
Katie, can I add one more thing about that acceptance rate?
Please.
I will say this, for the last 6 years, 100% of the Samford pre-pharm students who were eligible to be interviewed for the PharmD program have been admitted into the PharmD program. So I believe that speaks to the strength of the pre-pharmacy curriculum that we have here at Samford University. So I'll just throw that plug in there.
Absolutely. And our middle school folks, we also have a middle school camp, which is for 7th and 8th graders. It is in Birmingham and it's not overnight, but if you live in the Birmingham area, we'd love for you to join us for the day. We actually just opened registration for middle school camp today. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. I dropped in the chat again, so it would kind of go to the bottom, or you can scroll all the way at the top. But I put one of our links, like a Google form. If you're interested in our pre-pharmacy program or our doctor of pharmacy program, if you'll just click that link, you'll just fill out a very quick form, and it will allow me to follow up with you after this meeting, or Mr. Parker, just to kind of touch base afterwards. So if you are interested in our programs, please let us know there. John, I'm coming to you. I think I have 2 questions left. We talked about that. We talked about that. As far as summer programs or job shadowing opportunities for high school students, definitely our summer camps. But as far as shadowing goes, we encourage you to really look in your own area and find pharmacists that you are connected with somehow, or go talk to a pharmacist, ask what their day looks like. What does their career look like? And definitely ask if you can shadow. Can I come follow you for the day? Also your school programs, your high school programs, and like if you have a career counselor, can also help connect you with those opportunities. We don't do any shadowing through Samford during the summer. That's not currently something that we offer, but definitely explore your area and reach out to the pharmacist in your area to see if you can shadow what they do every day. So, and then there's a question about a pharmacy tech, which was from Bobby from HOSA, which is wonderful. So being a pharmacy tech is an amazing opportunity. I think John is a tech currently. Yes, John will tell you a little about that experience as well. And so we do encourage our students to go be a tech. It doesn't necessarily affect your actual application, other than it makes you very confident in the field. It definitely gives you a leg up as far as talking about your experience and why you want to go to pharmacy school, which obviously is an important part of the interview. And so being a tech is definitely wonderful, especially if you really want to do that in a hospital setting, because that's ultimately the setting you want to be in, or in a community or independent. So definitely great. Yes, and explore lots of different areas when you shadow. Absolutely, Dr. Cates. Go talk to lots of different pharmacists, and if you find a pharmacist that you can shadow, definitely ask them if they know other pharmacists in different areas. So yes, please go shadow. So I have some more questions. We're going to pause for questions real fast, and I want you to hear from one of my personal favorite students, which he will not tell the other students when he gets to school tomorrow. But John is truly wonderful, and the reason why I asked him to come speak to y'all tonight is since we have such a wide view of students here tonight. John was a part of what we call our early assurance program. I know Mr. Parker talked about it. So he actually secured his PharmD seat as a senior in high school. Then he came here as a pre-pharmacy student and lived Samford life. And now he is in our doctor of pharmacy program. So John, take it away.
Thank you so much, Katie. I'm really glad that all you guys are asking all these questions and took this step to join this, because I literally was in you all's position and seat just a few years back. But yeah, so my name is John Coley, and I'm a first-year pharmacy student. I actually was born here in Birmingham, Alabama, but I grew up mainly in Montgomery, Alabama. And I honestly grew up similarly to probably a lot of you, finding out that healthcare was the right option for me, but not being able to place my finger on the particular university to attend. And I knew that Samford Pharmacy School was an option for me, but I just was trying to figure out what made it stand out above all of the other ones. I also was in the boat of Katie and a lot of other people not really knowing what pharmacy was. I just thought that it was pills in a bottle. And so I actually reached out to Dr. DeHart, who is on the Zoom call, a faculty member here at Samford. And she just kind of took the steps to help me begin to understand the world of pharmacy better. And she kind of went above and beyond, because she actually did get me in touch with a pharmacist who I was able to shadow, one who was also at the time currently working in Montgomery, Alabama at a hospital, but also she allowed me to get in contact with Dr. Leah Wollstonecraft, So Samford has so many notable faculty, staff, as well as alumni. And Dr. Wollstonecraft recently was just instated as the newest NCPA president, which is one of the largest community pharmacy organizations nationwide. I also was able to get in contact with John Parker, and Samford allowed me to get a taste of pharmacy camp by a pharmacy by allowing me to be invited to their Bulldog Pharmacy Camp, which is an option for you high school seniors and juniors, and it really does really immerse you into and engage you in all of the different aspects and sectors of pharmacy, and it's very hands-on, and it's a lot of fun. I would highly encourage you all to do it. But from there, I knew that if Samford was willing to invest that much into me, and I had not even stepped foot as a current first year student, there was just so much more to take advantage of. And so to talk a little bit about my current experience, as was stated, I was blessed to be a part of Samford's the early assurance program with the free pre-pharmacy track. And when I was applying to colleges, Samford was already ahead of the curve, being one of the first universities to get you in and out with a doctorate of pharmacy in just 6 years. And the same remains still true today. And this is just so truly impactful because I was able to get all of the benefits of an undergraduate experience while being here at an amazing university, as well as going to school at a lower price because of the total amount of years that I would actually be in college. And I will still be able to receive my doctorate of pharmacy quicker than a lot of my other peers who attended other schools. And when I say that I got the whole undergrad experience, I truly did. So Samford, shameless plug, is ranked #1 in student engagement. And I actually was involved in over 10 different student organizations during my first 2 years here. And with it being my first year in the actual graduate pharmacy school, it's been great. I truly have enjoyed the intentionality of all of the faculty and staff who are not distant at all, but just alongside me in this process. I actually rode the Samford bus around campus today with Dr. Cates. And I've just really grown from the curriculum that they have here, which is really preparing us to tackle any situation that may be presented to us as pharmacists, from the molecular level all the way up to therapies of all different kinds. We also are in the heart of Birmingham, which is a underground foodie city. We have so many great restaurants here, but also we have 3 major hospitals around the university, St. Vincent's, UAB, which is also a teaching hospital, in Grandview. And then there's a community pharmacy just on about every street corner. And just to cap it off, the atmosphere here is just faith. Our dean says it, that faith is what we do, and our platform just happens to be pharmacy, and that truly is what it is here. So I truly have enjoyed my experience, and I look forward to what is to come. I'll also be looking out in the chat for any questions that I can answer, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you, John. That was, as always, you're the best. John, I also stole your photo from the SRT website. I think that photo was probably from several years ago. But I was like, oh, this is John's headshot for the evening. So thank you, John. I do have a question for you as kind of a follow-up to maybe talk to our students about once you decided to be in the early assurance program, do you think that that kind of changed the stress level on your 2 years of undergraduate school as far as like kind of knowing where you were headed? Or do you think that it kind of was the same as other students, you know, that kind of didn't already have that seat secured?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. For me personally, and to be very honest, it kind of helped me. It gave me more of a scope of where I was going and where I was headed. And so the #1, one of the engagements that I did in organizations was I worked a lot in the Office of Admissions in undergrad. And so the actual #1 major for undergraduate of Samford is undecided. And so being a part of the pre-pharmacy curriculum, as well as the early assurance, it gave me a scope as to where I was headed. It gave me a scope of what classes I needed to take, because just being in that 6-year time frame, I knew where I was headed, where I was going, and I knew I was going to get there in a way that didn't really expose me to too many different things to get my mind off track, if that makes sense. So I personally liked it because it helped me to keep a good scope on where I was headed.
I love that. And I think that is a really common thing amongst our students. So just a reminder for anybody who needs it, and I see it in the chat too. Our early assurance program is a program in which you can interview, you apply and you interview for the Doctor of Pharmacy program 2 to 1.5 years early. So that program now runs while you are a high school senior through your first semester as a college freshman. And so what that means is, normally you would apply for your Doctor of Pharmacy seat, so do the application and the interview during your sophomore year. So the application is open for almost an entire year. So you don't apply for the whole year, but it's open for that whole year. And so when you're a sophomore, and John can speak a little bit more to this, but you're probably taking Organic 1 and 2, Anatomy 1 and 2, probably Cal and Statistics. It's a big year. And so adding the application process on that sometimes can be a bit heavy for students. And so this program allows you to take that off of that sophomore year and move it early in the process. And so that's what the early assurance program is. You're raising your hand early and saying, I want to go ahead and interview for this. Yes, John.
Claire, the sophomore year of college.
College, yes. Good point. Good point. Yes.
Since we're talking with a lot of high school students, yeah. Typically, you interview sophomore year in college, whereas early assurance allows you to interview as early as your senior year of high school.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for clarifying. John knows that I'm used to just speaking to college students. So yes, thank you for that. Yes. Normally you apply at your sophomore year of college. And so we kind of take that off of you in the early assurance program. You can come to school with a bachelor's degree. So if you want to go all 4 years in undergraduate, finish a bachelor's degree, and then come to pharmacy school, you can do that. If you want to go to 3 years of undergrad and then come to pharmacy school. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. But if you're going to come what we call the fast track, what John mentioned, which was that 6 years, you just have to complete our prerequisites, which you can find on our website, and we'll email them out as well. So we are getting more questions. We love that. I think early assurance. I will put the website for the EAP program on here as well. That's a great idea. Thank you, Dr. Cates. So everybody can be linked there. And then this is a great question. I think I'm going to ask Dr. DeHart or Mr. Parker, whoever would like, but do you recommend high school programs like IB and AP? And actually, John, you of course can speak to this too, because you were a student. So whoever would like to kind of take that one away.
I can give the student perspective, recommending IB AP, and it kind of goes along with the question about can high school students and how Mr. Parker alluded to stepping in from anything to graduate school. It's a large jump, and so I personally did not come in with any IB or AP, and so I just stuck to the Samford pre-pharmacy track that they had set out for us. And during those 2 years, like I said, I was involved in a lot of different things. I was able to take the full advantage of Samford University, and grow academically, spiritually, socially, just in every different aspect of my life. And so it didn't hinder me not coming in, but some of my peers, a lot of them did have a lot of high school credits that transferred over, and it did seem to work for them. Because they had more time to study for like chemistry, because they didn't have to take another math or different things like that. So just looking at both sides from the student perspective, it definitely can help you, because once you're actually in university, you don't have to take as many courses to get to that threshold to be able to go into graduate school. But as I said, for myself, it didn't hinder me at all.
From the advisor point of view, I'll just add to what John Coley said. Yes, I mean, if it's a AP, IB, or a dual enrollment class in an accredited school and it matches one of our prereqs, we can absolutely use that as fulfilling those prereqs. However, this is just my recommendation in the years that I've been doing this. The general ed courses, absolutely knock those out. You know, you can do, you know, your English comps, you can do a history, you can do, you know, a liberal arts class, even some of the math classes. What I don't recommend in taking too early is your chemistry track. For our prereqs, there are 4 chemistry classes: general chemistry 1, general chemistry 2, organic chemistry 1, organic 2. Where that last chemistry of undergrad ends is where the information of the first day of pharmacy school starts. So you're expected to hit the ground running as if that information is fresh in your mind. So, you know, having a gap, if you bring in dual enrollment credit or AP credit, and you're doing the rest of the pre-pharm curriculum, make sure you don't have a gap in that chemistry, because you're going to need that. The anatomy and physiology, the way, and we've got faculty here and John Coley. I mean, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. The way that I explain to students, if you take a combination of human physiology, microbiology, and organic chemistry, those are the basic sciences that you combine together. That's where the science of pharmacy starts. And then they build on that with the systems and all of that and how the drugs interact in the human system. So having that information fresh and usable is what's most important.
Agreed. Absolutely. So yes, great question. One thing, I'm sorry I missed this question earlier, but do we normally go over 100 students in our Doctor of Pharmacy program? Our goal is to always have around 100 students in every class. We do have the ability to go up to 120 students, but our goal between that 100 and 120 number is really to make sure that those are highly qualified applicants. So we don't want to just fill to 120 instead of taking 100 unless we know that those are just really genuinely amazing students. So we do try to keep it around a 100, but we can go up to 120. Yes, so great question. Dr. DeHart is typing in a bunch of those. I know we asked about the benefits of the Early Assure program, so thank you, Dr. DeHart. A big thing for me is actually what John's background is right now, which is his dorm room. So being an early assurance student at Samford, so pre-pharmacy for Samford, you can actually continue to live on campus for your first 2 years of pharmacy school, which is a huge win. If not, of course, you can live off campus. We have a lot of that as well. But as John can probably attest, it is nice to just walk the 3-minute walk to our building instead of get in your car, have to go across town. It's definitely a big perk. So big part of the early assurance program, specifically if you choose to do it here at Samford. Also, another plug for Samford Pre-Pharmacy is we also honor your scholarships that are awarded by Samford's main campus. So our main campus, if you come to Samford Pre-Pharmacy, they have a lot of really great and amazing scholarships for our undergraduate students that range from 25% to 70% of your tuition. If you are awarded one of those, a 4-year repeating, we will honor those. Well, the university will honor those in pharmacy school with us those first 2 years. And that is truly a huge benefit. So definitely be thinking about those things while going through selecting like a pre-pharmacy or a doctor of pharmacy program. How do they kind of transition you from one to the other? So great question. I get this question all the time. I know that Mr. Parker does as well, but what major will be a better choice at when you go to college? In theory, there's not a perfect option. A pre-pharmacy track is a great option because you know that you're getting exactly everything that you need out of the program to go to pharmacy school. But we have students who have a variety of majors every year, from elementary music majors to business majors to chemistry majors to undecided. And so as long as you've marked off those prerequisites, your specific major is not as important as making sure you have the classes you need. So if you are going to be an elementary music ed major, go for it. We would love to hear you practice all those songs on the xylophone and recorder. But make sure though that you've been talking to your advisor and that they know that you need these 65 hours to ultimately accomplish your goal. There's not as much chemistry involved in the base curriculum of a music or an arts degree. So just make sure that you're also doing both of those things. So yes. And thank you. Everybody's been answering some great questions in the chat as well. So make sure you're looking through those. Dr. DeHart, I do have you next on the list to talk about kind of moving to the state of Alabama. Thankfully, we've had a lot of great questions. So you don't have as much time as I promised you. Sorry.
No, that's great. I'm kind of grateful because John Coley is a hard act to follow. I'm glad we took a few questions at first because I'm like, I can't top that. I just wanted to share a little bit about perspective. I know we have a number of people on the call from a variety of different states. I don't know if my accent necessarily gives me away at this point or not, but I am not a Southern native. I did not grow up anywhere close to Alabama. I actually reign originally from the Northeast in New Jersey, in fact. Have also lived in Florida, Alabama, and then Arkansas. And so when I moved here, when I was looking at faculty positions many years back, it was an easy and a difficult decision all at the same time, in that initially the idea of moving to Birmingham felt hard because I didn't know anyone here. And my parents didn't know anyone here. And so they wondered why I would live in Birmingham. And so, but what I encountered and what I think Dr. Cates alluded to a while back is what I encountered here was a culture of relationships. I interviewed and I felt something different here than all of the other places, all of the other pharmacy schools that I looked at the time. And so one of my pieces of advice to you would be along the lines of Dr. Cates's invitation to visit whatever programs that you're looking at, as best you can, visit them, because these webinars, the Zoom calls, they're helpful, but they can't entirely capture the feel of a place. So visit and talk to people and ask lots of questions. I moved here not knowing a soul. That was 30 years ago. Obviously, I'm still here, and the place is special. It's about the people. We have these pretty backgrounds, and these are actually photos of our campus. I'm standing in front of a waterfall that's kind of my favorite place on campus. But it's the people that really make the place beautiful. It's students, it's my fellow colleagues that I get to work with. Building on one of the questions about earlier about shadowing or volunteering, you're on the right path. So ask lots of questions. Find pharmacists in your areas. If you can't, reach out to us. And like John Coley, when you've been around for 100 years, it means you have a lot of alumni, around 5,000. And so, and almost all states, I think it's 46 or 47 states. So if all else fails, get in touch with us and we'll do our best to connect you, because it's through things like that you might find the perfect niche for you. There really is something for everybody in pharmacy. I started pharmacy school thinking I would be a community pharmacist. Instead, my practice looked like working 4 years with patients on hemodialysis, patients with kidney failure, and then another 11 years in ambulatory care, working actually in a physician office practice. And those wouldn't have been things that would have naturally been known to me when I was in your shoes. But that was before the internet. So you have so many resources. So search online, talk to people, ask lots of questions. And then once you've found a program that's a good fit for you, get involved outside of the classroom, wherever that is. That might look like a HOSA chapter. That's great. Mr. Parker and my minds sometimes think so much alike, it's scary. That might be HOSA. That might be a pre-pharmacy group. That might be a health professions group that's more general across all health professions. But that's where you really get those opportunities to find what's right for you. And I have probably talked more than Mrs. Rowland Ellis wanted, so I'm going to pause right there.
No, that is perfect. And you are always welcome to continue. So thank you so much. And I really just so appreciate Dr. Hart's telling that story, Dr. DeHart telling that story. I just think it's such a passionate place. I am from Birmingham, so I have never experienced moving to Birmingham. And so I hope that no matter where you currently are, we hope that you really consider coming to visit and really seeing what we have here in Birmingham.
It's such a great city. I mean, it really is. So for me, it's big enough to have all of those social and cultural opportunities. John mentioned what a foodie city it is. It's an amazing independent restaurant scene, but it's also a great outdoors area. It's a few hours from the beach. So it's got a little bit of something for everyone, but not so large to feel overwhelming either. So I kind of like that medium-sized city where there's enough to bring good concerts, good theater, but not so large to bring excessive amounts of traffic, truth be told.
Yes, absolutely. The traffic in Birmingham is great. A little busy, but nothing terrible. So if you're from a major city and you have like hours of rush hour, we are still small enough where we just have like 1 hour or less. And if you know how to go around it, then none. So I know, Bobby, that we are right up against our time. Do we have time to still do question and answers? I didn't know if we could run over or not.
Absolutely. I think we can take another couple questions. I just wanted to say thank you so much to the team for bringing your expertise to HOSA members and advisors. There have been some great questions and tremendous answers. I've learned a lot here. Appreciate from John Parker and John Parker the shout out to the competition, because that's what I was thinking of as to pharmacy competition. So if you're in 9th grade and you're looking for something to do, try out those competitions. But we'd be happy to entertain some more questions. Probably a question for me here. HOSA is recording this, so we will be emailing this out to everybody along with the other materials. So again, thank you so much. And if there's other questions, we're happy to stay on.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad we can have a few more questions. So yes, if you have any other questions, I know Mr. Parker just answered that question about state. We don't have a virtual option, but definitely it's overnight. So come on, 10th or 11th, if you are a rising 10th grader, so you're going into the 11th grade, or a 11th grader going in the 12th grade, then our camp is definitely for you. And it is overnight. You get to stay on campus and meet with a lot of our faculty. We go on site visits. We have some fun in the Birmingham area. So you also get to see a lot of the cool things that we have to offer here as a city. I also just wanted to note the links that I sent for coming to visit. There were 2 of them. One says, here's the link to Samford's undergraduate tour. So if you are looking at the pre-pharmacy program, so you're in high school and you're looking at pre-pharmacy to doctor of pharmacy, that's going to be your link. That is what John Coley used to do. He used to walk around amazing students on that tour like you. So if that's your link. If you're prospective going to come to Samford for undergrad and graduate school, the second link that just says, here's the link to come tour the pharmacy school and meet with the admission staff, which is John and I, then that is that second link if you are looking at coming straight into the Doctor of Pharmacy program or want to talk more about the EAP program, I guess, and if you're going to be a pre-pharmacy student as well, but maybe you've already done the undergrad. It's just a little more graduate, it's pharmacy specific. So we won't walk around main campus and like look in the dorms. That link is going to be the first one. So just to clarify all of those things. So any other questions for anybody? Because we want to make sure you go home with all of the answers. This
There's
is where,
something about 10th and 11th graders.
yes, so 10th and 11th graders can currently attend Samford Bulldog Pharmacy Camp. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, Ashley.
What if you're in Florida and you want to come to Samford? Can I still come to the camp, or will I have to do that virtually?
No,
I
yeah,
can.
come in.
Yeah.
Yes, so we, you can come in person. We don't have a virtual option, so we'd love for you to come in person, and you'll actually get to live in the dorms for the throughout camp. So it'll be overnight, so you don't have to go back and forth or stay in a hotel. You can stay on campus. Actually, the amazing John is going to be hopefully one of our camp counselors, so you'll see him again at camp.
When is this?
It's
Like,
the
when is
last,
camp?
yeah, it's the last week of June. I don't remember the exact dates. John, do you know
June
this?
28th, 23rd, Sunday, June 23rd is move in, and the last day of camp is the 28th. So,
I
and
have HOSA competition.
I just put the
Yes.
link to the camp in the chat.
Yes. So Ashley, I think I heard you say you'll be at HOSA. I will also be at the National HOSA Convention. So I will be missing camp too. So Ashley, make sure you come by and say hi to me. I will be there on Pharmacy Island. So come meet me and several other pharmacy school programs, and we can talk more about pharmacy school. So we did not do that intentionally. We didn't mean for them to be at the same time. It just happened that they were at the same time this year. So hopefully next year they won't be, and you can do both.
I'll be at camp.
Yes. So thank you for your
Okay.
questions, Ashley.
Thank you.
No problem. Can you see the full recording of the Zoom? Yes. HOSA will send out this full recording along with some handouts and some brochures about our program, just to do some more research, and any of the links we sent out will be in that email as well. So you'll get it through your email. So we won't necessarily post it, but just be checking the email that you saw this advertised very similar in, and we'll be sending that out pretty quick. Is there an information page for your early assurance program? Yes.
I posted it.
I'll repost it to the bottom again. But yes, our early assurance program, we do have a website for, and it is now, oh, no, the letter H is not going to help you find. I will copy it. Technical difficulties. No, but yes, I will repost the early assurance website at the bottom. Again, that's a great resource. Definitely, you can find all of our requirements, especially for those different levels, whether you're a high school senior or going to be a college freshman. All right. Anybody else? I know someone else has at least one question for John Coley, like just one. Go Bulldogs. Go Bulldogs. All right. Well, I think that is everybody. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Go Bulldogs. Yeah, Natalia, go Bulldogs. We have a very cute bulldog, by the way. If you've never seen the Samford Bulldog, there he is. He is amazing and wonderful, and his name is Sam for Samford. So we love that. So anyway, we hope you all, and we have an amazing basketball team. Yes, we do. We love it. March Madness, here we go. So, or here we went. But it was great. So, and there's a very famous meme from that tournament. You go look it up. It says, make the right call, choose Samford. So we hope you make the right call and choose Samford as well. So thank you all so much. Look at those adorable little bulldogs in the chat. I love it. So anyway, thank you so much. My contact is currently on the screen. Feel free to screenshot it. That is this cell phone number. Call or text me anytime. If you have questions, my email is there as well. And we hope we will see you on campus soon. Thank you guys so much.